playing Waddle. I mean, I could see an argument for any of these. I like to just take the animals with Waddle. You could definitely go a baby dragon and have it be correct. It's possible you're supposed to go baby dragon next turn and get kitty cut press. I think kitty cut press, if you happen to win the first, not take damage on the first fight, I'd much rather have the cut purse. The problem is that you're likely to take damage because they're likely to have something a little bigger. But what they had was a 2/2 kitty cut purse, often evolve or transform. I think here, this is interesting. Yeah, I think, but just grab the animal, cast the buff. Simple enough. I didn't realize that we already had a character for the Witch's Brew. I was sort of trying to figure out how we could arrange that. But yeah, getting the buff on the cuppers. 2/2/2s is a little below average, I think, for a second turn. In terms of, winning the fight. I think you're likely to lose here. Possibly get a Slay though. Not that Slay's super helpful unless we get a 1-drop spell. And then we're just looking for more animals. I think just buying all the animals as when you the 2 and 3 animals when you waddle is just an easy enough way to get there. Yeah, and because they have the buff, we lose actually. So we do get an extra gold though. Hopefully we'll get to cast something. We do get to cast something. And so what are we supposed to do here? This is sort of interesting. We could sell any of these. And this is so interesting. Because we want the Polywoggle. I guess what we're supposed to do is sell this, grab this here. None of these are good enough, so we're gonna skip. You get so many treasures, I think it's often worthwhile to skip on Waddle. As selling the Polywoggle is unfortunate. Maybe we should have kept the Polywoggle over the Familiar. Yeah, that was quite correct. I did sort of just want the 3/3 because it's more powerful, but I think we can actually take the hit here. And, get the Polywoggle, which, has a chance to flip into something really nice. Okay, so we're always taking Blind Mouse. I think we want Adventurer. I think it makes sense to cast the spell as well. Yeah, so we basically got an Adventurer for 2. Grabbing the Blind Mouse, putting this here. Put this here. Now, is it worth grabbing the Shadow Assassin? We'd have to sell something. Or do we just forgo that and grab a dragon? What do we want to sell? I mean, obviously not the Blind Mouse, because we just bought it. If we were going to do that, we just wouldn't have bought it. Not that it isn't necessarily right, but I think we've already made that determination. Selling the cut purse makes sense, but then we're going down on a Slay character. Maybe we're just supposed to sell this silly Familiar. Although, I think in general, we just want animals. And the dragon seems fine here. Get rid of this. Hopefully we'll accelerate a little bit. If they have good characters, it might be hard to get Slays. They don't really have much of anything. We did get 1 Slay. We will get 2 Slays. We will lose this fight. Take a little bit of damage, 4 down to 30, but I think in general that worked out fairly well for us. Do we want to just buy the XP? I think we do. And I think we want a donkey instead of a dragon. This is a nice dragon too, but yeah, I think in general donkey over dragon. And now that so we're at 4, we did accelerate past the point where, ability is strongest. Although, finding a Blind Mouse later on or something along those lines. And I think it's actually better to put the cat here, prioritize winning the fights over trying to get the extra gold. And yeah, so they're actually in a similar situation. Sometimes you want to buy, you want to buy some XP because XP is very strong, but you end up sort of passing the point where if you have sort of some of the lower level hero powers, you end up passing that point with, it's the strongest. Sad Dracula sort of works in a similar way because if you pass the Shadow Assassins, it's good to get the XP, but if you pass the Shadow Assassins, it's harder to get that build going if that ends up being what you're going for. Wow, so they have a very strange build that I believe we should just beat. And it looks like they're just saving a bunch of gold. They're just trying to get some slays and save all their gold. Oh, that was unfortunate. We didn't get that slay. This is very interesting. I don't know how it'll work out, but you know, kudos for trying something. Hippocampus seems interesting here. In addition to that, we could basically give up 1 gold to buff this +2. No, I don't think that's worth it, and the reason I don't think it's worth it is because having the animal is actually worth a little bit more than 1 gold, I think. And we get to cast a spell, which is nice. So yeah, I think the idea here is that we just want to buff the hippocampus, which happens, you know, when the black cat spawns. It also happens when all these other cats spawn. Obviously, we're hoping we don't get dragoned or fireballed or something on those lines. We're at 4, I think 2 turns ahead of schedule. So we are currently the only person at 4 actually, which is usually surprising. You know, Hippocampus used to be a one-to-one character, one that gets the upgrade. It no longer does because it's a 4. It is, I think, a lot stronger now, even as a level higher. You know, even with the downside that comes with, you know, costing another gold and being longer to get it. But it should be, you know, if all goes well, it should be close to a 10-10 this fight. Obviously not getting that slay, it's a little bit unfortunate. Oh, Greedy is an interesting spawn, because we'll maybe get a little gold. We actually, oh wow. The hippocampus dies, we're not going to get the spawn on our cats, which means we don't actually grow the hippocampus. That was a little unfortunate. I think we'll be fine, but... Do we want another adventure? I think it's worth casting the buff. I don't think we're gonna buy the adventure though. I do always love this. We'll grab a chicken, it's an animal. Oh, it also buffs this thing. We'll grab the donkey buff. Spells costing less is interesting. Does it do anything here? Not really. We don't have enough evil characters, right? We have 2. Yeah, that's not what we're going for. It could be. It could be a direction. Just because it's not now doesn't mean... I think Merlin's Hat does work with the animal familiar. Characters... I mean, the Ring of Revenge is the strongest at the moment. I do like casting extra spells, though. And I wonder if maybe Polywoggle seems like a better choice than a adventurer, and we do get to think. And I think we should cast this just to grow the adventurer. Oh, and actually we'll stop because we see a hippocampus. Actually, can we sell things to get there? We could sell... no, not... We have 3. I think we'd want to sell 4. We're not saving any gold by doing that, we're just saving the roll, so I think that's fine. Oh, we would like to see 5s, but I think this is a better play. Not to get overly aggressive. We get the slay, that's wonderful. You can see the hippocampus is already at like a 10. I think it's like a something 10. Okay. Go buy the hippocampus first, that's important. Buff this. None of these seem especially good. Might be good just to get some health though. What about a Merlin's test? No, I don't think any of these are gonna do it. Wow, this is some nice stuff here. We're gonna wait. And can we do this? That's 9. Oh, this thing's terrible. Let's get this out of here. Well, we could sell 1, 2, 3, 4 and buy a wombat. Is that good? Or what if we just sell the adventure at this point? Because it just seems so unlikely to slay here. Selling blind mouses seems bad though. Let's go like this. This is probably the least greedy we can do. Unfortunately, we only have 2 things we can buff. We have 3 things we want to buff and only 2 that we can. So that's tough. Next turn we can cast this for free. Hopefully hit one of the 5s. Ooh, we do get the transform, and it's alive. Oh, and it's a good boy? Wow. So that could really transform our game plan. Wow, so we're gonna take some damage. We don't win the fight. Unfortunately, the good boy doesn't retain the buff then. So maybe we don't want these 2 animals. We want good animals. Or just good characters in general. We will take this buff. We'll sell this thing. I think we'll take this just as a gold. I think we can skip here. We'll grab a Lancelot. Want to go something along these lines? I didn't buy the Lancelot, that's sort of important. And I think we want to cast this Merlin's Test next turn, actually. I'm thinking the 11 is probably a little better than this thing. Basically, if this triggers, we get a 5-drop. That's sort of the majority of our plan here. Yeah, and casting this here seems really worthwhile. So I think we'll do that. This does trigger these 2 things. 11. Yeah, we're gonna do this. I don't know if it's correct. I'm trying to be a little less greedy. Again, I don't know if it's just being foolish though. We do need this thing to die. Yep, there we go. We get all the buffs. We trigger this thing. Get a couple spawns. Ooh, they do get the flip though. Ooh, we didn't get the 50-50. Unfortunate. We do take them out. Do a little bit of damage. Oh, not too bad. Oh, did I not pause it? The one thing I said I wanted to do? No, I did not. Okay, well, here we are. And I think since we got to 6 so early, we're gonna get a little greedy with that. Is Baby Bag good? It does buff these quite a bit. I think we'll just look for some good boys and some range characters. Yeah, we'll take the buff on everything, especially on the good boy. I mean, we're not especially buffing the good boy. Do we want to just get this 10? I mean, that's like probably the worst. We just want ranged, I think. But now that we've rolled a little bit and haven't found anything, might be better just to go with something. Something along these lines. Oh, actually, we probably want to buff the donkey. Maybe it's better to buff the good boy. I don't know. So is everyone else at 6 yet, or just us? 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. So we're the only one at 6. This person has an impressive board, though. Because remember, you know, we had a good boy explode and still barely beat them. And they haven't even hit that. Now they'll get the +3. Okay, so Cupid is generally exactly what we're looking for here. You know, I think we're going to take the buff as well. We're gonna keep buffing this good boy. Do we want the Lady of the Lake? The problem is the Lady of the Lake pushes out the Green Knight. I guess we can triple it though, right? That's the idea. Oh, and Hippocampus. How do we get there? I guess the answer is we can't this turn. But that will be good to triple. We'll replace one of these, 2 drops with a 4. I guess this is a 3. And what do we want to do? We can't put this in front. We can put this in front. We can take this out, I guess. Put a Cupid? Let's go something like this, maybe. The idea being that 18 attack on a ranged character is going to be better than however big this is. And next time we'll just replace. Right? I mean, is Lancelot just not very good here? What if we sold 1, 2... Actually, let's do that. I think something like this is fine. Put this at the back. Oh, no, well, we had that there for a reason, I guess. Okay, that's exactly what we wanted. Yeah, so that worked out well. I don't know if this 4-drop was worth it. It does feel bad losing a Lancelot, but it just wasn't very big. And ranged characters are what we're looking for. This is ranged, but we have a 6-drop. We might take this, just try to win the fight. Oh, although we missed out on that. Here's another good boy. Here's a spell we could cast on a good boy. Yeah, I don't know. Here's another good boy. Wow. So I think the best thing to do is this. We did hit, everyone's at 6 now, but we hit 6 before everybody, and we found, which, gave us a little bit of free reign to get the good boys. I think did we True Love's Kiss that good boy? No, did we Polywoggle it? Yes, we did. We Polywoggled into it, I think, mid-fight. And then we just sort of transferred around it. So we'll still get the spell cast. It is nice because if we get, obviously this is a pretty powerful 4-drop late in the game. Random spells can be very powerful, and if we get any buffs, like if we get the Blessing of Athenes, or even just the +2 attack, I don't actually know what it's called, but just for the one fight, those are all very good with what we're going for here. And yeah, we have some pretty, we could move this over. It just makes the good boys more likely to survive a hit though, which isn't really what we want. We sort of want them to die so they give their attack to everything. Oh my god, look at how big that thing is. Okay, well. Wow, so they really saved their gold and got a ton of slays. That's a really interesting board they have. One that's going to be difficult to beat. Do we want to grab this? I don't think so. I mean, because the range characters are so strong, I think. Do we want another Cupid? No, I think we're just looking for the final good boy. Yeah, we do want to upgrade that. And I think these are going to be better than the donkey in general. So we'll probably replace the ring next turn. I mean, I think this tiger is just incredibly strong. We did have some stuff that was good against it. We did almost take it down. I do sort of want to replace this with a Cupid even. Since we have 3 good boys too, I think it might be worth getting the Toil and Trouble. If we survive, assuming we survive, obviously. And yeah, I mean, this has just been a tough one. Might have held on to the donkey too long. I wish we had, 1 more gold. Would have been great, obviously. So we did get the permanent buff. Their board obviously looks huge, but our good boys give so many big buffs. I think we just take the, yeah, we crush them here actually. So yeah, we got the blessing. It's nice. They had an ivory owl. Oh, and 5 upgraded princes. Wow, this person beat them? Well, that doesn't bode well for us. We don't have any summons. I think we want the Cupid. Maybe we'll take the Toil. Here's the other good boy. So, I wonder if it's better to go like this. No, probably this. So, next turn, assuming we survive, we have a decent shot at 16 health, but, you know, it's always a possibility. We grab the good boy, and it's possible we want an Echo Wood. We know they have flying. So, how stupid would it be if we got the second good boy, just put both our good boys in back? I think not that stupid. Because we know they have the dragon. I mean, it's definitely kinda stupid. Yeah, having big range characters is just gonna win this for us. So the other issue we have is that they have so many upgraded characters. Let's see what the 6-drop gives us. Round Table. Does that do anything? I mean, it sort of does, right? Given that we have support bonuses. And if we had an Echo Wood. I kind of want to put these two as our backline. I think maybe we go this instead, though. Round Table is so strong. Although note that these will be smaller in the backline because they're not getting the buff. Let's get this then. I mean, this is dumb, right? But something like this. Are we supposed to grab the Echo Wood? I think the answer is no. It's possible here is something. This is obviously very strange, but we knew they had the dragons. Okay, unfortunately that hit the wrong one, but there we go. So we get the upgrades. And we knocked him down to 4. So I think in general this is better, right? I think replacing a hero is reasonable here. This gives us a level 6 treasure right away. Doubling the front row attack, I think is generally the best thing we can do. Or is it giving 100? And having this always be the first thing to die. Huh. I think doubling is better, maybe? Oh, you know, we're gonna get another hit on this, right? Yes. I wonder if we want... I guess good character is just getting a buff. I mean, that seems so dorky, but... might be correct here. Are we supposed to buy one of these? Maybe just for the potential 6-drop treasure? Right, and we sell this thing? We just put it up front. Yeah, I can imagine doing that. I don't know, that seems a little silly, but I think we're hoping that the tiger gets knocked out because they're tougher for us to beat. We have to resort to sort of that goofy, you know, back row good boy comp that I think is not likely to work, especially if they see it coming, which they probably will now that we've done it once. Of course, you don't always get lucky. It would be nice to find another good boy. I think we take the buff. Yeah, good boy's already buffed, so I don't need this. I mean, they're gonna see us coming, so they're gonna adjust, I'd bet. So we might find ourselves just not clever enough. So, in terms of what we want to sacrifice, I think it makes more sense to sacrifice our non-range characters. I mean, I don't think they can afford to take their dragons out. Obviously, this comp looks really, really stupid if they just take their dragons out. I wonder if they'd do that. Just to get us. This is going to be an interesting match because they're at 4, we're at 17. We could die in one hit, but we're not super likely to, although we probably will die in one hit if they don't, or you know, if they like outfox us and we lose the round completely because they did have a lot of upgrades. So having Cupids does mitigate that somewhat. I think we're just gonna hope their dragons are still in. And they're not. That was smart of them. It was very smart. So they do have an enormous Cupid. We'll survive. Okay, so we're definitely gonna swap our good boys back. And we're just looking for like a strong spell. I mean, we get a lot stronger when we're like this, you know? This is strong. But obviously, I think this is a good enough spell. If we hit the Echo Wood, it's very good. You know, again, they could have the dragons just sitting on the bench. Oh, we did Polymorph, would have been better. Would have been nice to upgrade the Cupid. We didn't really have the shot to do so. Is there any chance it's better to have this like this because it's going to be an attrition match? If that's the case, we might want to do this. No, these both give 10 health, right? Yeah, so we definitely want this. Yeah, I think this is what we're going with. I mean, yeah, if they do switch back, good for them. I mean, if we get outplayed like that, I mean, out of all the ways to get outplayed, someone doing a dragon swap in and out is really something. I think what they did, though, because they had a big Cupid, was True Love's Kiss It, right? They do have one dragon. Okay, so that was very bad for us. Yeah, it looks like we're going to lose here. Yeah, unfortunately, you know, they were able to get the big Cupid and get a good polymorph. Although, I mean, the polymorph was not as good as it could have been. So, good game by them. They played a really interesting matchup. It would have been interesting to see from their perspective. They did like the picky banking thing. But I think we did make a nice play, and then it was sort of like a little back and forth. I think, you know, we had the best board we could have put for the last round. I think with only one dragon, we wanted to have these in the back and just eat one of them. Unfortunately, you know, they were able to polymorph one, hit the other, and then the, you know, 400 Cupid is just tough, just because it's a giant range character. But yeah, good game overall. And I think we started with Waddle this game, right? Yeah, we did the double mask. We got the Sing Swords.